everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. So today I've got a bit of a fun look in store. I've been really inspired by all these pastel eyeshadow looks I've been seeing, and I bought the Beauty Bay pastel eyeshadow palette, which is gorgeous and very inexpensive. And I saw this look online by Sylvie Hewson on Instagram. You can't really see it, I'll put it up here. And it's just beautiful. So I'm gonna take some inspiration from it and give it a go, because I don't do too many fun looks and I do love doing them. I'm gonna give it my best shot. If it's not perfect, fine, we had fun, but I'm excited to play around with some color and something a bit more blown out. Zoom you in a little bit. I'm gonna do my skin first because the eyeshadow kind of goes onto your cheeks. I don't want to have to then try and go in with foundation after and go around it. It just seems difficult. I'm gonna go in with the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in Almond. One of my favorite foundations ever, and I haven't been wearing it a lot because the shade I had was too dark for me, but I've got a bit of a tan now, so it's good. I'm just gonna take about a pump and a half on my ZOEVA Silk Finish brush. I sort of just dot it all over my face and do the majority of the work blending in with the brush, but I am gonna go in with the sponge after. This is a bit more of a medium coverage foundation. I didn't know whether to go light coverage and a little bit more natural skin and have the focus on the eyes, because it's not vibrant colors. It's the pastel look can be quite nice with sort of lighter skin, but I want the focus to be on my eyes. So I think I'm gonna go for a little bit of a higher coverage today. I'm gonna take my sponge. Pretty sure this is the Morphe Makeup by Ariel sponge. It came in the brush set. And I'm just gonna pat that in. Such a beautiful foundation, and it is very undetectable and weightless. Too Faced, Born This Way, and sort of NARS Sheer Glow and Light Reflecting are some of my favorite foundations ever. Yeah, I think a pump and a half was good there. My skin's pretty clear at the moment. It's a little bit of scarring showing through down here, and I have one spot down there, but it doesn't really matter in my opinion. So for concealer, I'm gonna take the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum in Light. It is a pump applicator, so I take a little bit on my finger like that, and I just rub them together. And I sort of just put it in the places I need it. This is the sort of formula that you could use your fingers to blend in, because it's sort of a little bit thin and creamy. I like to use a sponge. I am also just going to take the Rare Beauty Concealer in 170W, just a little bit extra around my eyes and stuff to highlight. This combo leaves me with such bright under eyes, and it's so nice. Very good coverage for this sort of eye look. So yeah, I'm just gonna take my sponge and pat that in. My skin looks so nice and smooth. It's a little bit glowy, then concealers are a tiny bit luminous, but the foundation is sort of a satin finish, so I think it's a really nice look. I'm gonna set it a little bit with the Huda Beauty powder in Pound Cake. This is a really smooth, loose powder, and it has a net, so I normally just take a brush and like dip a tiny bit in there. I'm just gonna stamp that around my eyes. It is meant to be sort of a baking powder, so you use it to bake, but personally I think baking looks a bit too heavy on me, and this powder works really well with just a brush, so I don't mind. Some powders I find when I apply them, I'm just shiny again like 10 minutes later, whereas this one I find does one of the best jobs at actually keeping my face set and matte. Not too matte actually, I don't like too matte of a face, but it doesn't look shiny like 10 minutes after. I'm sort of just going around the T-zone, because I like the finish of the rest of the face. I just get really shiny in my sort of T-zone. Yeah, it's a really nice powder. I really recommend it if you're looking for a new sort of loose powder. I'm gonna do my bronzer now and leave blush a bit to the end so I can sort of combine it with the eyeshadow. I'm gonna take my VIEVE Modern Bronzer. I did do a video on this in my last video, so if you are curious about VIEVE at all, do check that out. I'm taking out my Morphe Ariel A21 brush. Quite a big one, and I'm using that in the lighter shade to sculpt a bit. Yeah, I'm not very precise with this lighter shade of bronzer. I sort of just chuck it very haphazardly everywhere, and I'm more particular with the deeper shade, which I'm gonna take on a smaller brush very lightly and concentrate it more in my actual cheekbone. Very smooth. I'm still liking it as much as I sort of said in that video. Just gives me this lovely sun-kissed look, and it's not muddy or anything. And I think the 2 different shades makes it really customizable, which is really handy. These products all going together so nicely. I am very worried I'm just gonna mess it up with the eyeshadow. But anyway, I've got my inspo picture up, and in her caption, she did say that she was using the VIEVE Pastel palette. We're gonna give it a go. I've got a bunch of clean brushes. These are just a mix of ZOEVA, Luxe Crease, and some Morphe ones thrown in there. It is sort of a rainbow eye, so we're going from like the orange, yellow, green, blue, pink. I think I'm gonna take the smaller brush, the Morphe E17, in this sort of pastel orange, and I'm gonna work my way out. I'm gonna start in my inner corner / inner third. I think pastel eyeshadow is so nice. I'm so excited about this palette. I feel like it's such a wearable way of playing with colour, because sometimes really deep shades can look very in your face and can be kind of frightening for some people, including myself. I shy away from really vibrant looks with very intense colours, whereas these just feel so wearable. Like that. That is such a gorgeous shade all over the lid. Stunning. This palette is definitely going to be a summer staple in my collection. Less than £10, I want to say. I've seen a lot of people talking about the Natasha Denona pastel palette, and it's brought up a lot of pastel looks on my feed, but it is expensive. It's like 60 quid. And if you don't know if you like pastel eyeshadow, you're going to be reluctant to spend that much money on a palette that you don't even know if you'll like. So I'd always recommend getting something a little bit cheaper, but still great quality, and having a little play. And then maybe if you love colour, you might invest in something a little bit more expensive. I'm gonna take the yellow and just sort of apply that next to it, sort of just in the bit above my pupil. I'm gonna zoom you in a bit. Right on the ball of my eye. And this is on the same brush because I think that's gonna help them blend together. I'm pretty impressed with this colour payoff. You do need to build it up quite a bit, but I wouldn't expect anything less from pastel eyeshadow. I'm just gonna go like back and forth between this orange and yellow and just layer them. There is 2 sorts of greens in this, like a more teal and a lime. I think I'm gonna go with the lime green for this look. Do I want to change brush? No, the lime is a really small amount, so I'm just going to take that and put that just a little bit past the yellow. We're just trying to make a gradient here, to be honest. Wow, that is a really vibrant green. I'm just going to go back in that yellow and put that a little bit over the top just to make sure you can see all the colours. This is fun to play around with. So this is how we're looking so far. This is very summery. We're now gonna dip into some blue. My brush is very multicolored, so I'm just gonna try and get as much off as possible. I'm gonna dip into this blue. It looks beautiful. I can so see myself using this one more. This looks like it kind of goes in her outer corner and a little bit sort of like out like this, like it's starting to blow out. So I'm gonna try and do that. Something like that. That's a really pigmented blue, I'm impressed. I also feel like this goes against most things I do with makeup, because I always try to lift my eye and never sort of blend out down here, but this is forcing me to experiment, which is fun. I'm impressed with this blue. It's really holding its own against the other colours. I do think I've lost the green a bit though, so I might have to add a little bit more of that. The blue is blending really seamlessly. I'm impressed. Blue is quite a hard colour to do, so I'm just taking a bit more of that green, just placing it between. This is so fun. I feel like I could have brought these all a bit higher though. I'm not sure. When I put mascara on, I don't want it to cover it up. We'll get to that. Okay, so now we're sort of getting into the blowing out part. I'm gonna take this sort of flat smoky shader brush from Morphe, and I'm gonna take it in sort of lilac shade here and just sort of put it on the edges of this blue and bringing it sort of down my cheekbone, I guess. This is quite a light shade. I don't know if it's doing that much. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's added a slight purple tinge to that pink. I'm gonna take the more pinky lilac and sort of go on top. I think that's a more accurate, oh yeah, it's much more accurate. I think that's the shade she used. And I'm really sort of just blowing this out and putting it in this sort of area. This is very similar to the not watercolor, like rainbow reflection trend I've seen at the moment, where people are doing rainbow just under their eyes. This is it, but on my lids and sort of coming down the side of my face. Yeah, that was a much better shade to use. I think that's gonna integrate the pink a lot nicer. So I'm gonna go for quite a fluffy brush. This is a Morphe M504 on the sort of pink shade. Just gonna sort of put it on my whole cheekbone. This sort of just looks like a blush, but it's blending down really nicely from that purple. Yeah, that just looks like a blush. To intensify that a little bit, I'm taking the VIEVE blush in Cherub, and I'm gonna take that on a ZOEVA Luxe highlight brush, and I'm gonna apply how I normally would. I think that's looking really good. Just gonna make some final touches. So I'm gonna take the orange again and sort of just put it in the whole inner corner. I want it to go under my eye a bit more. And the pink, I'm gonna make that a little bit down the middle of my lower lash line, so it's connecting the orange and the blue. I think I'm really happy with that. Sylvie in the photo has little like star stickers. I don't have them, and that's just a little bit more effort than I wanted. I think this is enough for me. So this is how we're looking. It's very out there. I'm gonna take the Rare Beauty mascara. I can't remember the name of this. And I'm just gonna coat my eyelashes. I feel like I need it. I'm gonna do a little bit on my lower lash line. I don't wanna cover up what I've got going down there. Wow, this is such a wearable, colourful look. It's a bit crazy in my opinion. Personally though, this was such great value for money. If you are wanting to play around with colours, maybe you've seen some looks online that have really caught your eye, this palette is great. Great bang for your buck. Classic me, I have got a bit of mascara on my eye. Oh, that came off easy. Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna fill in my eyebrows as well. Please ignore how overgrown they are. I was gonna pluck them, then I couldn't be bothered. So here we are. I'm using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in 2. I do find my eyebrows really hard to fill in when they're overgrown. I feel like it's really hard to follow the shape. Aren't overgrown eyebrows in at the moment? I swear wild eyebrows are a thing. And if they're not, just give me the benefit of the doubt. Okay, and there we go. It's a great pencil. It does what it needs to do basically, and quickly, which I like. I'm gonna use a clear mascara in them. Please ignore how gross it is, but it is only like £2. I find so many brow gels give my eyebrows crustiness, but this collection one doesn't do it. I don't know if it's because it's a mascara. It hasn't got the best hold, but I would prefer them to go back to their normal position over being crusty. For a bit of a final touch, I'm gonna take MAC Soft and Gentle, just on a pencil brush, and put that in my inner corner. And in my brow bone. I think that's just a little fun touch. I don't really want a lot on my cheek. I'm gonna do the slightest dusting, and I'm gonna pile it on my nose because, I don't know, it's fun. Let me zoom you out for some lips. So this is how it's looking from a distance. I think it's so subtle for how rainbow it really is. I'm gonna go for quite a neutral pinky lip. So I'm gonna take MAC Boldly Bare lip pencil. I'm just gonna outline the edges of this. Really easy to blend as well. And I just overline my Cupid's bow a little bit. This is actually a bit more of a brighter lip than I thought, so I hope this tones it down a bit. I'm just gonna take MAC Honeylove as well in the center. Well, I said center, I pretty much just put it over my whole lip. I'm not sure how I feel about this lip color. I can't tell if it's a little bit too peachy. We're just gonna go with it. I think I'm done, so how do you think I did? I think this has come out really nice. And it's really fun to do something a little bit more colourful and playful every now and then. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to give it a like and subscribe if you want to see more of me. I hope to see you again in the next one. Bye.